Welcome to NinonSpeaks. I'm Ninon de Rosa, and we have an incredible guest. And he's actually in England, in not London though, but he's in England. Well, we're going to find out where he is exactly. And then we, of course, I have my co-host AJ, and she's absolutely amazing. She actually does all the introductions to our guests because she has a better memory than I do of who they are, what they are, and why they are. So I'm going to pass it over to AJ. Go ahead.
Hi, Ninon. Thank you so much. I'm very excited today. We have Jonathan Thompson in the building. He is originally from the northern part of England, but now he resides on the west coast of the United States. He is absolutely amazing. He is a director and producer and writer of films, and he's worked at the BBC, Marvel, and Warner Brothers studios with them. And so it's really amazing. And he has this great motion picture film coming up, a documentary called Haunt in the South, coming up starting in October. Welcome, Jonathan. It's lovely to have you.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah,
Hello,
Jonathan,
Jonathan,
you've dressed for the occasion. You look absolutely lovely. Do you know, not many people look like they're photographed, but you do.
I try to keep my photographs updated and relevant.
Oh, yeah, of course, normally when a woman has a photograph, you know, it's like 20 years back. And then you look at this and say, who's this person? Anyway, Jonathan, how are you?
If you look at my passport photo, I'm good. So my passport photo from 20 years ago doesn't look too dissimilar. A little more weight in the face, but that's about it.
Great. Awesome. So what made you come to good old America?
Disney World.
Really?
Of all things, Disney World. Yep. I just got out of a marketing and advertising company in England and was going through a rough breakup and decided I needed to get away. And I was looking online to go on vacation, and an internet pop-up of all things said Disney World are looking for international staff. I applied, got the job, moved out here to Florida, and that's where I met my wife, who also worked at Disney.
Fabulous. You see, it was all meant to be, Jonathan.
Definitely. Disney is definitely a magical place for me.
Yes, but you're not with them now, though, right?
No. My contract ended in 2009. So my wife and I decided that we were going to, move into some of our other aspects. She's a designer with a degree in theater. I've been doing film work since 2001 is when I officially started. So, right up 20 years, and since then we've just been having a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Did you have your education in England for the film work and for?
I did, yes.
Really?
Actually, I was never educated in film work. I just did that as fun. Secondary school was Macmillan College in Middlesbrough, and then I went to the Stockton Sixth Form College. And while there, it was right about the time Phantom Menace came out for Star Wars. And some friends and I got an old VHS camera, because that's what they had at the time. Yeah. And we did a fan film for Star Wars, and then sat there and edited lightsabers in. We had like 30 different people, and it was exciting and a lot of fun. And I got into that, and then I went to university at the University of Plymouth to study geology. I always wanted to be a paleontologist when I was younger.
Wonderful.
And while I was there, it was a lot of fun.
I know
my
Plymouth.
friends were into the media course.
Yeah, I happen to know Plymouth very well. I was born in Paynton in Torquay.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
I know you know Torquay. I did my first pantomime performance in Plymouth. My first on stage was in Plymouth.
Oh wow, wonderful.
And we lived in Cornwall.
Which house?
I can't remember. Good Lord, I was only like 7 years old, 8 years.
Oh, okay.
I was a little young, my dear. But I always remember it, and it was absolutely fabulous. And I guess that was my introduction, like your introduction, and to the theatre and to the entertainment business. So now you're in the film business, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you like that? What made you go into that?
What got me into it was while at university, I was on the fencing team, and we were being trained by a silver medalist at the Olympics. And the BBC came in and said, we're doing the series Hornblower, and we need a bunch of extras. There's a couple of battle scenes. We want people that can use a sword, so we don't have to train you. And my friend and I went to the audition, and I had a similar haircut to I do now. And so did he. And they said, you don't look the part. Off you pop. I'm like, what?
Thanks.
And my friend asked them, was like, so you'd rather have the look rather than the skill? And they said, we can teach anyone the skill. What we need is the look. So the next year, I'd let my hair grow out, and I went back for another audition and got the part and did a little bit on there, and that was fun. And then from there, I kept getting little bit parts. In 2012, I became SAG eligible with a film executive produced by Jeff Foxworthy. Every year, I do a couple of SAG films just to say eligible. I don't feel like paying them $4,000 to be told I can be an actor. So I've never actually joined, but I'm eligible. And then in 2009, when we got out of Disney, we started making some of our own stuff. 2015,
when you say we, who do you mean? Jonathan,
my wife and I. My wife and I.
Good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Keep it in the family.
That's a lot easier when we've both been in theater and different things for so. Her grandmother was a seamstress. Her mother was a seamstress. She was a costumier. So it makes sense that I need designs. Here you go, honey. You've got like 900 sewing machines. I need costumes. Yeah. She makes my stick figures look really good.
I bet. So where are you now? Are you making films now, or what are you doing right now?
Yes. I'm, for the month of October, I'm going to be traveling around the Southeast United States with a haunt reviewer, someone that goes to the haunted houses, the haunted trails, and all of the scare attractions. And he reviews them. He's been doing it for 12 years. And I've been in touch with some of the local universities, some of their psychology departments, to get them involved on asking why people like these things. Why do people enjoy being scared? I've got some of the scare actors, some of the people that built these things. And for the entire month of October, we're going to be traveling, filming. And then it's probably going to take about a month to go through that footage to figure out what I've got and then put the story together for a documentary.
So do you like doing documentaries more than you like to do a film?
This will actually be my second documentary. I prefer narrative stories than documentaries, but documentaries are a unique beast in themselves, because you basically record, you come up with what you want to record. This is what I want to do. Then you record a ton of footage, and then you go through the footage and say, this is the story.
Yeah.
The footage you've recorded tells you the story for the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas a narrative, you have your story, you have your script, you know what's going to happen from the moment you put it on paper to the end. With a documentary, you know what's going to happen when you watch the footage and you go, ooh, that bit goes here, that bit goes here.
Let me just interrupt here to tell our audience what we're doing and what is going on. When we do these videos, which is through Zoom, and sometimes things go a little different, but in what we do, what AJ and I do, we actually do a lot of training on this. So this is quite apropos to what we do. So when you do have a glitch, you don't have to completely go out and disappear. You can kind of try to rectify it yourself. Your screens may change and things may change, but that really doesn't matter, because NinonSpeaks is all about training and helping other people, especially on screen, and doing these things. So, Jonathan, we just had a great experience with you before we started the show, because you couldn't get on.
Yes, we did.
Now all of a sudden I went hazy, and now I'm on the bottom screen and not the top screen. But this is all part of learning. So this is for our audience out there to take notice of what goes on. Don't give up and just get in a panic. Just let things continue, right, Jonathan?
Yes, the same idea on a film shoot. If something goes wrong, but it's not catastrophic, leave the camera rolling. That's how you get gag reels. And then let the actors reset and just keep rolling.
Yes.
You shout cut, when something catastrophic's happened, you need to retrain an actor on something. It's like a band. You know, the reason they take a break in the middle is to retrain the drummer. Similar idea. You only say stop when someone needs to, you're pulled out of a scene. If the scene is still going and it's only a minor thing, keep rolling.
Well, that's what I want to do, and this is why I kind of got all interrupted here and everything else. But it's not really an interruption; it still continues. And my whole philosophy is not to let everything drop and get into Panicsville, because you can keep rolling and you can keep it going, and it really turns out quite good, because then it turns out to be something in training. So we're now going to go back to you, Jonathan. In training and in helping other people out there is what you do a lot, right?
Yes, I work a lot of the times as a creative consultant. People who have an idea but don't exactly know what to do with it. People that have a script but the story just isn't meshing. You know, what do I do now? I'll use my experience and help them develop it to a market-ready product. So from developing the story, developing the characters, plots, subplots within subplots, and then put the pitch material together. Help people practice pitches. Tell them where to look for the pitches. You know, how do you contact studios? How do you contact people? What do you say?
It's all right to make a mistake, because if you don't make a mistake, you don't really learn, do you?
Not at all. I made a mistake myself last year. I sent a script to a producer. He'd asked to read it. It's a sci-fi action, and it's a post-apocalyptic. And I was very proud of the script. It was wonderful. I got all the edits done. It was exactly what I wanted. He asked it, and I sent him version 3.
See?
He gave me the feedback of this isn't finished. I'm like, yep, I am aware of that. What feedback would you give me on what you've been able to read? And he picked out different bits and pieces, and I'm like, I agree entirely. What I didn't tell him was that that's actually like 4 versions early to the one that is actually ready, because that was my mistake. But I used that to ask what that producer was looking for, what that producer wants when they see something. And I already had the script in that format, but I learned something from that. I took away what this particular producer was looking for. So next time I approach that producer, I'll have something ready for them.
Absolutely. And it's funny how it makes us a little bit more aware, a little bit more sort of, don't rush things so much, to relax. And if the mistake is made, make something of it. Don't make it like a mistake, like you just said. It came out as you learning something. Now, I also understand that you have kind of a network or something that's out there that you've started or you're doing. What is that?
It's not a network. It's not a network I own. It's a network I've done 2 shows on. I have another show coming up on them. It's called E360 TV. It's a video on demand and a live streaming platform with multiple avenues for filmmakers. It's quite an inventive way, because if you do the live stream part of it, you get a video on demand channel as part of the package. So you actually get the show twice. You can do it live and a recorded version.
Really?
So it's actually quite ingenious, because you can build an audience and interact with them live. So as we're doing now on the recorded show, the audience can pop in with questions for your guests. They can pop in with questions for you.
I love
in a live atmosphere. Then you can, it's amazing. It's
I
very
love
intuitive.
that. I love when people can interact. I like when people can interact.
Videos have 158% more watchability. Statistically, more people and audience retention exists on live interacting TV rather than just video on demand. But video on demand gives them the rewatch. Go, oh, I can ask questions. Then they'll catch your live show, and you continually build your audience over and over and over. So that platform is great, and they do major events throughout the year where they'll have whole days dedicated to different things. They had a day in space when space did the docking with the International Space Station.
Correct.
They had NASA scientists, SpaceX scientists, all of these different professionals coming in And it was just an entire day's event on their live channel. So E360 TV, for me, has been an amazing platform. I'm very happy to work with them. Aaron, the owner of the network, is a business genius with some of the stuff he's got going on, and his marketing team. Lauren Harris, one of his executive producers, does a show on there. They have over 9 million people in the audience. It goes out to 156 million devices throughout the world.
This sounds exciting. I'm getting all excited here.
Oh, it is.
How did you find out about
I'm
this?
actually producing a new show for them. I was the director of entertainment development for an online magazine called No Strings Attached E-News. And the owner of the magazine knew Aaron personally from work they'd done in the past. And said, oh, he's got this channel. You're in filmmaking. Why don't you two get talking? And I got talking, and I did a couple of shows for him on his channel. And then we got talking a couple of months ago. And come 2022, I actually have a third show I'm producing for them, which is a filmmaking competition where we give aspiring filmmakers a $7,000 budget and say, do a Robert Rodriguez and create a film on $7,000. And the winner of the competition gets a distribution deal with the network.
That's amazing, because you're helping people that are not actually in the business. And this gives them an incredible opportunity to get themselves involved, which, you know, it is so hard to get yourself into the right door. And sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And fortunately, you've known some very good people, but the reason you've been, you know, these good people is because you've been in the right place at the right time, but also you know your business. What would you advise the younger generation? Because I love the younger generation. What would you advise them to sort of get themselves more involved or get themselves where they want? What is a kind of a bit of a shortcut, would I say?
If you have an idea, don't try and sell the idea to a network. No one's going to buy it. No one cares.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's harsh, but it's true. Find the audience. Genres exist for a reason. You write horror, find horror fans, talk about your idea, talk about their fans, like what they love about it. What do they want to see? How do they, sci-fi, same thing, comic books. Comic books are $1 billion industry in the TV network right now. Talk to them about your love of comics, talk to them about your ideas, build your audience. So when you develop your idea, you go to a network, you go to a producer and say, I have this idea, and they're going to say, so, with 3 million people that know what I do. All of a sudden, you're selling them 3 million people. That 3 million people, if everyone knows 7 people, you've just created a multi-billion revenue stream for a producer. Develop
you're bringing
the
them
audience before presenting. So
you're bringing them something as well. So that if you've got to have your whole idea kind of in a box, you've got to know exactly what you want, where you're going, and concentrate. And you know, it's funny, I found that out when we have all these hashtags things that we put out there, and they say that not to hashtag a company that really has nothing to do with what you're doing. Go out, and you just said it, go after what you're doing. You're doing horror movies, then go after all the people that like horror movies, produce horror movies, and they're in that business. And then you can create it better. AJ, I know you want to ask a question. You're being so good there. What would you like to ask? Poor AJ, she's nodding her head. And yes, go ahead, AJ.
Thank you so much, Ninon. I just wanted to ask Jonathan the difference between filmmaking in England and America. Is there a difference?
Yes.
There is. A lot of it comes down to attitude more than anything. Being here for 13 years now, the work ethic in America is very different. It's very lax. In England, when I used to work there, it was, there's a job to do the job. Yeah. Okay, now you're off the clock, have fun. In America, it's very much do the smallest amount possible for the pay and then work all year. And like, do the job, do it well.
Yeah.
And you can do, enjoy your time off. When you're working, work. So in England, the work ethic, it's not just film, any job. It seems, you know, when you're there to work, you work.
Yeah, when you're asked to do a job in England, you actually do the job. You don't push papers around to make it last all day. You actually create jobs, you do what you're there for. America, I think they work more in America, but not harder. They work more hours.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll have two jobs. I'm often wondering, why do you have two jobs? You should be able to get paid for the one job, enough. But they don't, they work a lot in America, and I've never understood that. They don't kind of, you know.
And from my observation, it's purely that. Instead of getting in, do the job, it's do the minimum amount for the pay.
Yeah.
But you never progress, you never move up, you never show your worth, so you never get a pay raise.
No.
So it's all about that work ethic. And in England, it's a lot easier, because if you say, hey, I need this doing, it gets done.
You know, it's like walking on a set, and it's like, you become the guy that goes and fetches everything, the fetch it, you get everything else. So then you learn, in England, you learn from that, and then you go to the next level and the next level, because in your brain, you have a place where you want to go. Whereas I find more in America that they feel they have to either go to college or go to some other place to learn what they're supposed to do, and rather than learning it on the job and building themselves up within. And you're absolutely right. A lot of people don't do that. I always say, if you're in a job from 9 to 5, do the best possible job you can. But then I'm English, and that's how we're brought up. Right, AJ?
Yes, that's right, Ninon. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're brought up that way. So anyway, so you're doing very, very well. So what have you got up now? Are you doing some horror movies now, or what are you doing, Jonathan?
I've got the documentary that I'm doing in October. Tomorrow, I actually have an interview. Well, I'm interviewing a publishing house to see whether or not I want to come on as a director. They have somewhere in a range of 120 different scripts right now that they're looking to attach talent to. So I'm going to talk to them, see if I like their methodology. And if I do, I'm going to have them send me over some scripts, find some that I like, and then look at taking them on for my 2022 calendar.
That's amazing. So do you have to read all these scripts and choose the ones you like, obviously?
The way that works is I have a specific niche that I work in. Action films and a certain amount of horror, just because horror you can do on a low budget. You don't need star power. It's easy to...
They're always in.
It's easier.
They're always in. Everybody wants to see a horror movie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Ninon, I have to interject and say we have to start wrapping it up.
We do. Oh, I don't want to wrap it up with Jonathan. I find it absolutely delightful. We've got 3 English people on this show, NinonSpeaks. It's absolutely amazing. But of course, everybody else in the world is very welcome to our show. We love to have the international set on our set. It's absolutely amazing. I would just like to give a shout out to AJ. AJ is amazing. I've only known her for about a year and a couple of months. I brought her on to help me with NinonSpeaks, and she's absolutely amazing. And Jonathan, you talk about somebody learning and doing the job and wanting to build themselves up. AJ is definitely the one that does that. I would also like to thank Jonathan. You are amazing of what you've done, and you've achieved so much. But I also have to say that and I think it's the horror movie industry is really in. It looks like I'm fading out again. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but it's going crazy. Thank you, Jonathan. AJ, take it over.
Thank you, Jonathan. Can you tell the audience where they can reach you and connect with you?
Yes, if you, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. My new website will be launched at the end of the month, hopefully. We're still working on the back channel, and that's just jonathanthompson.org.
Thank you so much.
My email address is jonathan@jonathanthompson.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Thank you again.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. NinonSpeaks. We'll be back. Sorry for all the mishaps in this show, but actually, it's a training show now. So, Jonathan, we have made a training show.